Good morning. Good to see you all here today. And nice to see you, Ron. It's been a little while.
Thanks, Jim.
Absolutely, yeah. You can have the job back whenever you want it. So I appreciate everybody being here. I'm from, obviously, Patrick J. Leckleitner with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I'm the acting director. I'd like to thank you all for joining us here today as we announce that ICE is implementing a new body-worn camera requirement for law enforcement officers and special agents. This is an important step for us. We're taking to modernize our approach to policing. This is also an important step to further build public trust and confidence in our dedicated and professional law enforcement officials. ICE investigates and enforces more than 400 federal criminal statutes and this is promoting transparency and maintaining the public's trust, and that's very important to us. As research has shown, body-worn cameras can help us do both of those things. In 2022, the President signed an executive order that addressed the appropriate use of body-worn cameras in law enforcement. Then, in 2023, the Department of Homeland Security implemented our first body-worn camera policy. That policy requires special agents and deportation officers to use body-worn cameras in all appropriate circumstances, such as emergencies and during pre-planned attempts to serve warrants or make arrests, including when we apprehend fugitives with active warrants, as well as when we execute a search and seizure warrant or order. The policy also excludes some events from the use of body-worn cameras, such as in courtrooms, during proceedings, in hospitals and medical facilities, and in any location where there's a reasonable expectation of privacy. That just makes sense. It also forbids their use for the sole purpose of recording people exercising their First Amendment rights. It is very clear that they can't be used for wide-scale monitoring, indiscriminate tracking, or unauthorized surveillance. In ICE, we have over 12,000 criminal investigators, deportation officers, and other law enforcement agents in the field, and many of them will need to use body-worn cameras while they work to protect the American public. To ensure we had it right, we conducted a 6-month body-worn camera pilot program with our Special Response Teams, or SRTs, comprised of our special agents from Homeland Security Investigations, known as HSI, in New York City, Newark, El Paso, and Houston. Then we did the same thing with our deportation officers from Enforcement and Removal Operations, also known as ERO, in Atlanta, in Indianapolis, and Salt Lake City. Following these successful pilot programs, I'm very pleased to share that we'll be using a phased approach to roll out body-worn cameras to the workforce. All of our team members will be educated on the appropriate use of body-worn cameras and will receive extensive training so that we can make the most of this opportunity. Our Office of Firearms and Tactical Programs, the Office of Principal Legal Advisor, and the Office of Diversity and Civil Rights have developed and are leading the training in consultation with the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. The training covers all the basics, like activation and deactivation, when officers can and cannot use their cameras, and even protocol for unexpected circumstances, such as what to do when a body-worn camera malfunctions, because we know that will occur. As of today, we have 1,600 body-worn cameras ready to go. We plan to distribute them using a phased approach. During the first phase, we'll provide body-worn cameras to HSI special agents and ERO officers in the following cities: Baltimore, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Buffalo, and Detroit. We plan to distribute these cameras to the workforce as expeditiously as possible, but our timeline for agency-wide implementation is very flexible. It depends on the availability of appropriated resources, which we're working to secure so we can fully implement this new policy. Our ability to secure the homeland really rests on public trust, and we could do that and build that through accountability, transparency, and effective policies that help us protect the American public. To that end, I wholeheartedly believe that the body-worn cameras are the next logical step for ICE to take. Thank you. I appreciate your time. I believe we have some time for questions if you'd like some. I believe I saw you first. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this. I'm Julia Ainsley with NBC News. I have 2 questions. One related to this. Will you be able to use these body-worn cameras out of the country? I know HSI does a lot of international operations. And then should I ask my second now or come back to me? Okay, the other's about budget. Now that the CR has passed, but you weren't able to get the request made through the National Security Supplemental or the October request, is ICE in a better position now, or are you still worried you might have to make some cuts to key operational areas due to a budget shortfall?
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. We don't conduct true operations outside of the United States, so we don't have sovereign authority outside the United States. There may or may not be very select instances where that could be utilized. However, I wouldn't get into specifics of that. These are domestically focused for where we have law enforcement authority, so where we would use them. On the second point for the budget, unless somebody knows something I don't know, our CR was not passed. And unless somebody knows. So our CR, we don't have one. So ours expires on the 22nd. There's another piece that was just approved recently, but ours goes to the 22nd, and we're working on that currently. I mean, they're working on that. We are working with the department and the administration, and obviously with our partners in Congress, and hope that this comes to a good resolution and we get the appropriate funding that we need. But right now, we're trying our best. You're welcome. So, right behind, sorry.
Thanks so much. Rebecca from the Associated Press. You had mentioned that first it would be rolled out to, the policy would be rolled out to a number of cities. What's the timeline for workforce nationwide?
So the first, yes, thank you, Rebecca. 5 cities were selected first, and that was based off a lot of operational needs and what we could do in those cities and where it was best based off of our, internal review. Where they go after that really is dependent on funding. So we're only appropriated enough to kind of do what we're going to be doing in this first phase, and anything we do after that is depending on funding we get from our appropriation in Congress. Right now, we can't do more than those cities.
But the goal is the entire workforce would have them eventually.
Yep, absolutely.
Not for like office jobs, but.
No one wants to see me walking around the office. Yeah, I don't think that's, anybody's wish. And that was one of the things we wanted to make sure we did right. You don't want to have a detective put their thing on and just walk around and sharpen their pencils, or if anybody even does that anymore, I don't know. But the goal is, as quick as possible, we would get this out to the entire workforce for operational purposes.
But you just don't have the money to do that.
We don't have the money. No, it's not. We don't have the requisite money to do it. Sir.
PJ, Luke Barr with ABC News.
Good to see you, Luke.
See you too, man. One of the things is when people talk about body cameras, people want to see the footage if something were to happen. So what is going to be the policy in releasing body-worn camera footage?
Well, there's a lot of privacy concerns that go into that. So specifics on the actual instances will be a case-by-case basis. But we have to take into effect the privacy concerns. There was a PIA been done on this, privacy impacts assessment. But really, it'd be a case-by-case basis on if anybody could get access to that material. Rebecca, sure.
You said it would be a case-by-case basis, but is the goal to release whenever possible? I mean, do you have a stance on, or is the goal like we don't feel that we should release the footage?
No,
I mean, release to public, to NGOs, people will be asking for it that time.
yeah, we want to be as transparent as possible, but we need to follow all the appropriate policies and legal guidelines within the federal executive branch. So on the specifics, I can't really get into that right now. We're still moving forward on it. My goal and our goal would be to be as transparent as possible with the release where appropriate. Okay, sure. I'll try.
Okay. With the situation in Haiti deteriorating as quickly as it has been, is ICE currently doing deportations to Haiti? Has that been stopped, or has it affected it at all?
Yeah, well, we are currently still working with our Haitian partners, and there are still repatriations, deportations occurring, as long as we can do it in a safe manner in consultation with our partners and the State Department and the interagency. Everything is done in lockstep at that point, and we have not completely halted anything at this point. And we take it day by day, and we are literally having day-by-day discussions to make sure that we're doing it in a safe and orderly manner.
Can you give us an idea of like how frequent they are? Is this something that's like maybe weekly? I know you don't want to say like one's happening tomorrow, but like.
Yeah.
Or than the last one was?
Yeah, I don't have that off top of mind, but we can get that to you.
Okay.
Nothing? Okay. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. We'll be doing another one soon.